So we have the OBE planning process at program level. So we have the phase 1. So we have vision and mission, charter for state and for state university and college, and needs and demands of society. Naka-under po sila kay institutional outcomes. So in the phase 2 we have program outcomes. So in program outcomes naka-under po ang goals and competencies. And then the next one is the phase 3. So we have the course learning outcomes. Naka-under po dyan is objectives, content, learning outcomes, and evaluation. So, in the phase 1, we have the developing institutional outcomes. So, yung vision and mission, charter, and needs and demands ng society. So, yung mga curricularists, i-analyze po yan nila lahat. And then, in order for them to serve as the basis, or ang result po ng analysis nila is will serve as the basis of the curriculum, or yung kung ano ba yung mga academic programs na gagawin nila, which is it will include the core values of the curriculum or of the school. So next one, in the phase 2 we have the program outcomes. So in program outcomes is in this level, it is important to identify the desired attributes, knowledge, skills, and values of an ideal graduate. Ano ba yung mga knowledge and skills na magiging yung ideal graduate nila? So for example, gusto nila yung ideal graduate nila is creative thinker, problem solver, and then mas mahasa po sila sa in terms of demo teaching and etc. Yun po yung mga program outcomes. So dapat meron doon is yung desired attributes ng isang ideal graduate. So development of program outcomes is assigned to different colleges or academic units. So the program outcomes reflect the necessary competencies that an ideal graduate of the academic program should possess. Yun nga yung sinabi ko kanina. So next we have the course learning outcomes. So under po dyan yung objectives, learning content, learning experiences, and the evaluation. Ano ba yung mga course learning outcomes na sinasabi dito? So, meron tayong ditong example. Naka-under po sa developing course learning outcomes is yung mga BS Biology, BS Mathematics, BS Nursing, BS HRM, or Bachelor in Elementary Education, or the BBEd. So, it is important that these learning outcomes reflect the program outcomes. So, being an BS Mathematics, 'di ba? Dapat yung mga course learning outcomes is ma-attain nila and align dapat. Okay, na gets? Course competencies. So, each set of competencies should reflect the nature of the courses, embody the course description, and focus on the learner and learning. The next step, or the step 2, is developing a curriculum map. So, in this process, it is important that the college faculty needs to develop a curriculum map. Why? In order for them to plot the program outcomes with the specific courses for a particular degree program. So we have, in the figure 21, we have the sample curriculum map template. So in the first column, we have program outcomes. The next one, we have the courses, which are the course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, and course 5. So, under the course 1, we have the competencies. You have to list the competencies, and the course 2, you have to list the competencies also, and so on and so forth. In the curriculum map, the contribution by each course to achieve the expected learning outcomes should be clear. And then it is necessary to see that each set of course competencies be logically organized in a spiral progression. And then, considering two architectonics of the curriculum. What are those? vertical organization, and horizontal organization. In vertical organization, it is also what we call the sequence. While the horizontal organization, it is also what we call the scope and integration. So next, we have to proceed in step 3, which is developing the syllabus. Okay, in this process, the faculty will develop the syllabus for each course. So this includes identifying course content, learning activities, and course requirement or assessment tools, or OBE, requires all the teachers to focus on the outcomes prescribed for each course. In contrary to many information and lectures that there is prescribed syllabus template. So, sabi daw dito, yung sa iba't ibang information and lectures that there is prescribed syllabus template to dapat. But the OBE does not prescribe any template of syllabus. But it is simply reflects, or it is simply directs the teachers that the teaching and learning experience as reflected in the syllabus should be aligned perfectly with the course competencies. So you can create your own syllabus, but it should be aligned perfectly with the course competencies. Okay, na gets? So in figure 22, we have the sample syllabus template. So in the first column, we have the course title and the schedule. So, in the course title, we have the course description, course credit unit, course schedule, and course objectives. So, ano ba yung course description? For example, we have the M119. So, for example, that is a differential equation. And then, course credit unit. Ilang unit ba yung differential equation? For example, 3 units. So, next is the course schedule. Ano ba yung course schedule na dapat? For example, 10 to 11. Okay, that would be the course schedule. And then, the course objectives. Ano ba yung mga objectives under that courses? So, next is the schedule. We have the schedule, objectives, contents, learning experiences, and assessment tools. So, makikita nyo dyan sa table. So, you have to indicate the schedule, objectives, contents, learning experiences, and assessment tools. So, and after that, we have the references, class requirements, and evaluation criteria. So, you need to be able to indicate that one also, okay? So, it is important to ensure perfect alignment between and among the 4 elements of instructions, which are objectives, contents, learning experiences, and the assessment tools, or what we call also a evaluation. So it is also imperative that all these elements contribute to realization of program outcomes are institutional outcomes. As what I have discussed before, the institutional outcomes are general, while the program outcomes are specific. If the program outcomes is specific, the learning course outcomes is more specific, or the learning objectives. So our next topic is all about transition curriculum. What is transition curriculum? So from the word transition, it means the period of changing from one state to another. So, transition program, it is designed for the special learners who have intellectually disabled and physically handicapped. So, it is designed to meet their special needs and interest to their specific interest. So, it is like a care package that will empower the learners in their transition from home to school, from elementary to post-secondary, and to the world of work. So in the transition program, the learners will also enjoy in their education, which enable them to become functional in their everyday life. So in the Philippines, Quijano 2007 represented the Philippine model of transition, which focuses on enabling every special learner for the community involvement and employment. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga intellectually disabled na mga students is yung Philippine model of transition. So, pinufokusan nila yon, which the special learners will be involved in the employment. Ibig sabihin, makakatrabaho po sila, and the Philippine model of transition will help them to become functional in their everyday lives. In transition curriculum, it helps the special learner unlike sa normal students. Kasi may mga special needs yung mga special learners that the model of transition will help them to become functional in their everyday lives. So the examples of transition programs are college, church missions, internships, vocational program, and etc. So those programs will help the special learners to become functional, and they will also involve in employment to the field of work in this society. So the transition program in the Philippines could be expanded to many different possible points of entry that will extend the scope of transition program from young children to adults. So the transition program in the Philippines could be expanded in many different possible points. So I will read the first one. So the first one is the transition to school life. So may include children or adults who have physically handicapped and intellectually disabled who would like to attend or who have been assessed already for regular school under the inclusion program. So just like before, we already discussed about inclusive education. So inclusive education will also help the learners who have disabilities. So this may include students that would like to learn basic literacy. So the program or the ALS or the alternative learning system will help them to learn the basic literacy. So those are transition to school life. So next we have the transition after post-secondary schooling. So what are those? So it includes programs that will prepare special learners for vocational courses and on-the-job training. So it may also include programs that will help students move to higher education if possible. So after nila gumraduate sa post-elementary, so they will become in transit in the post-secondary. So it includes the program that will prepare the special learners for vocational courses. So they may proceed to another course or to another program that will enable them to be have in employment in the field of work in the society. So it will help them to move in the higher education or in the college level until they will graduate. Okay. So the third one is transition from school to entrepreneurship. So it includes programs that will allow special learners to become entrepreneurs in their respective communities. So the transition program will also help the special learners to become entrepreneurs. So a business owner, a businessman or woman. So they will also learn to become an entrepreneur. So that's how the big impact of transition curriculum to the special learning. So next we have the fourth one, transition from school to adult life. So the program includes that will allow students to adjust and adapt to adult life. So hindi lang po yun sa school but tinuturoan din sila kung paano mag-a-adjust in the real life or in an adult life. So next, the transition to functional life. So, sabi daw dito, it includes learning of life skills that will allow the special learners to learn how to take care of themselves and develop some special skills that they can use every day. So, tinuturuan ko sila na kung paano nila i-handle yung sarili or i-take care of themselves and develop some special skills. So that's how the transition curriculum change a special or learner or which have a physically handicapped and intellectually disabled. So transition program mold them and change them or growing them into a different level. So transition curriculum has a big impact to the special learners. Not only to the special learners but also to those students who have CICL. So what is CICL, ma'am? So CICL, according to my research, so those are children who are accused of committing theft or robbery. So naka-under po ang CICL sa RA 9344. A child 15 years of age under na nakakommit ng crime. So, just like for example, yung dati sa akin is merong uh, underage siya, about 17 years old, na nakakommit siya ng crime which is nabubugay yung with disability or yung hindi, tawag dito, yung hindi makapagsalita or something, may disorder siya. So, yung nabugbog niya na is then, pinabarangay siya and then pinaproceed siya dun sa DSWD. So, under siya sa CICL or Child Civil Liability under RA 9344. So, kahit nandun na siya, hindi po siya na-imprison kasi underage pa siya. But, the DSWD will help him na makarecover and then tinuturuan po siya. So, the transition curriculum will also help him kasi kahit dun siya sa DSWD, under siya doon, still, nagpo-proceed pa rin siya in terms of his education. So, the transition curriculum will help him to be uh, a growing person or yung, kumbaga, meron siyang changes